Hey, what's up, everyone? How's it going? Hope you had a good Christmas. Alright, yeah, we're gonna push it right into my arrest today. Alright, so, yeah, I've probably for about 3 or 4 months already at this point, there's been a police car on my street, the street where I live. Sometimes even right outside my building. I honestly didn't think anything of it. I mean, it's like, it's hard to explain where I live without telling you where I live, but it's like these buildings are very old. They're landmarks. And all these old, originally it was filled with German people and Irish people. We had a couple of Hungarians. Yeah, now it's pretty much just yuppied out. But yeah, back in the days. So these buildings have been around forever. I know people that live on this block forever, since I was a child, possibly even in diapers. Now, I assume those police cars were not there for anything to do with graffiti. It's just an unmarked car. Sometimes they'd just be sitting inside it or something like that. Like a regular police car. I honestly didn't think they were there for me. Fuck for graffiti. You're going to sit out there all night and day like that. I didn't really think so. Also, somewhere before all this, before all this shit, I remember Pove, Pove, Tommy Pove, MPC. Yeah, he sent me a picture. Yeah, I'd known Pove a while. Tommy, Pove, MPC. Pove Cat, they used to hit the 2s and 5s and shit. Yeah. So he sent me a picture of an RD tag on a bus. Now, I'm like, where did you see that? And he's like, oh, that shit's up here, like 233rd Street up in the Bronx or something. A regular MTA bus. So I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, I did that shit 3 or 4 months ago. And it's still running. Hey, I even told Tommy, I'm like, are you sure you just took that picture? He's like, yo, dude, man, what the fuck, man? I just took the picture. I thought you'd like it, so I sent it to you. And I said, no, thanks. I said, I'm just bugging because I did that tag 3 or 4 months ago on that fucking bus. I know, because it's not like I'm running around going ape shit on buses. It's actually the green I use for fire hydrants. So I had an opportunity to write on a bus while I was writing on the fire hydrant. So I wrote on the blue strip of the bus. It's about 3 or 4 months before the picture came to me from Pove Tommy. Pove Tommy currently, I believe, he's locked up or something like that. I was reading some wild shit about him in the newspaper. Yeah, he was setting it off. Nothing with graffiti or anything. Alright, so yeah, he sends me this picture of an RD on the bus. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I did that shit 3 or 4 months ago. Let me see what's that all about, Let me go figure that one out, So I started ragging buses. I started going apeshit on the buses. I started hitting them up on 127th Street off of where they have that big bus depot parking lot. I believe I was speaking about it before. It was built on like a slave burial ground or something. All those blocks up there, off the FDR Drive and the bridge before it goes into the Bronx and stuff like that. They have city buses. So I catch them there, catch them downtown, catch them on the west side in the 50s. And I'll just run up to them and catch them if I have that perfect opportune moment when no one seems to be looking and this and that, and the bus just happens to pull up. Boom, I'll do it. Yeah. So I was getting a lot of fucking buses, right? I'm like, yeah, the buses. Yeah, I started thinking shit. Let's do that, man. In my mind, I was having a conversation with myself about those buses, man. So I went in that shit full fucking body. Once again, looking back, it was probably a mistake of mine. But I started writing all over these buses. This is maybe, the dates are off a little bit because this is something I should have talked about maybe a year ago or 2 years ago before my arrest. And yeah, I was writing on a lot of fucking buses. I was catching them shits on West End, on 90-something street over there when they come cross towns this way, that one. I just started going off on the fucking buses. And I would see some of them. What I would do is I would do them in different colors of just the Rust-Oleum spray paint, like this shit. So this way I would know when I did it, so when I see it, I know how long it's been running. So I started noticing them running 3 weeks or something like that, and then it was like 2 weeks, and then they just figured that shit out, and it wasn't running. I didn't see it no more. But it's funny too, because right after POV, MPC, GU also, Graffiti Unlimited, yeah, he sent me that picture of the bus he saw up in the Bronx there, shit, almost fucking Westchester, almost Valhalla or something, is where he saw it. So that's when I started writing out a lot of buses. Then he sends me a picture of a POVE, POVE, top to bottom on a bus. Like he did a whole big filler. He did 3D on this shit and everything. I was like, oh, come on, man. You're going to blow this shit up. But yeah, like I said, I started noticing them running for about 3 weeks, and maybe 2 weeks, and then it was just I didn't see them no more. No matter how much I wrote, I didn't see them no more. So I figured it pretty much they did like with City Bike. What happened is they probably just give these bus drivers these things that are like these little wipes that they take out, and they put on a little rubber glove, and it's actually like a Lysol, like a wipe, like a baby wipe or something you'd wipe a baby's ass with, but of course it's got chemicals in it that removes spray paint, graffiti. That's what I started thinking of happening. They just give one of them to every bus driver, and when he's done with his route, if you got a tag on it, wipe the shit off. So I stopped doing that. And then, like I said, I started seeing cop cars and shit on my block. I really didn't think it had anything to do with me whatsoever. I mean, like I said, I know other people out here. I have actually told them, like, yo, what's up, man? Yo, you got the cops out here. And they're like, yo, they ain't out here for me. Yeah, I actually remember, trying to give a few people a heads up and shit, They all play like, nah, me, man, come on, man. That ain't for me. So, yeah, that was pretty funny. But Andrew Lace, he noticed them too. He's like, yo, Rob, what the fuck you got the cops out there for? Like, I've been noticing that shit. I'm like, I don't know, it's probably for this guy or that guy. I don't want to go mention people's names or nothing, So I really didn't think nothing of it. Then one day I go in to get a slice of pizza from Sutton Pizza. Now, I've known the owners of Sutton Pizza. They're actually the guys that was in the newspaper with the Long Island Expressway, that chunk of metal that fell down. I believe that fell on Greg. He was driving to work one day to Sutton Pizza. There's another guy that works in Sutton Pizza that was from Astoria. He grew up with PK Note. So he knows me very well. My brother used to work in Sutton Pizza from age 12 to probably 15, 16 years old. My brother was flipping pizzas, running deliveries, pretty much working a pizza parlor store, doing what a pizza man would do in a pizza parlor. Take orders, this, that, blah, blah, blah. So I know Greg and him very well from Sutton Pizza. So I walk in there one day, they ask me how is my brother doing, because my brother's incarcerated and shit. So he's all right. And he's like, yo, the cops came in here looking for you. I said, looking for me? What the fuck are you talking about? And they said, well, I don't know. They had this big thing. It was like a phone book. It was like leather. And it had the NYPD thing on it. I said, it's almost like a leather summons book, like a binder book with the things that you put the pages in with the holes perforated. But it was just filled with photographs. About 8 photographs on each page. It's just all graffiti. I said, I don't know what the fuck makes you think they're looking for me and this and that. They said, well, I had a picture of you with your dog and stuff like that. Like some kind of surveillance footage. I get my pizza and I leave, And then, actually, maintenance workers from this building that know me, I've known them my whole life. I've known these people since they were, probably since they came home from the hospital. Yeah, I remember I used to hang out with their older cousin. So one of them guys, works over there now. He tells me, yo, Rob, cops came by looking for you. I'm like, what the fuck they come by looking for me for? And he said, graffiti, man. I said, come on, man. They go, you still do that shit, man? Because I've actually wrote graffiti with one of those guys, too. Maybe 30, 40 years ago. So they're like, yo, Rob, like I said, the dudes in this neighborhood, they kind of look at graffiti like it's stupid. Like, what the fuck you doing? Like, that's dumb, man. Now a couple of them are changing their tune when they see there's actually some money, That's, money is everyone's ambition in this world, I guess, But, yeah, that was funny shit. So he's like, yo, man. Once again, they had this booklet and this and that, showing them a bunch of pictures, and because it's a tag inside these buildings in the back where it's like impossible for someone to get a tag unless they had some kind of access to this building. And this building is a lot, you know. So they didn't realize how old that tag happened to be and how long it's been there. And so they started asking questions. Of course, they're like, nah, I don't know this time. Or at least that's what they tell me. But, yeah, so they were poking around here. And apparently they knew who I was and they knew where I lived and everything, according to the maintenance workers. And it's pretty much just a matter of time. So at that point, I was like, all right, let me chill the fuck out a little bit. And it was like I was buying food in the supermarket here, Graffiti's. I mean, like I said, this whole police thing, this thing was going on for a couple months. I've noticed them outside maybe 2 or 3 months before that. The pizza parlor thing, when they started actually like walking into stores and asking about me, that was maybe 4 or 5, 6 days before my arrest. So it's almost like they figured, okay, now let's really put, like, the way I see it with this whole thing is, it's not that big of a way. I'll explain what I'm talking about later. What I mean is, I've seen over the years, I've actually witnessed on TV and following through, there was a police officer, an Asian cop, Chinese I believe he was. I think he did like a swastika or some shit like that on some restaurant or something like that sold him some bad food or some shit. Yo, they locked that motherfucker up the next day. Like, seriously, it was like one day he did it, the next day. Like, if you really do some stupid shit, man, they'll come and get you. It's just a matter about how bad you did it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, in today's day and age, I mean, back in the 80s, you could, you know, fuck around and do stupid shit. But nowadays, no. If it's really, like, if you do, like, some hate crime shit out there and it's involved vandalism, yeah, they'll have you within a week. I don't give a fuck where you did it or what. Nah, yeah, they'll have you within a week. I mean, if it's just the bottom line. And it's just pretty much with me. It's just they got so many calls about graffiti. I mean, they said that, you know, it's, I'll actually read the article to you in the next one. I don't have it prepared right here. Or you could Google it yourselves. Leave RD 357, Robert Dyer arrested, graffiti. But, yeah, anyway, getting back into it. I remember the day before my arrest, the night before, I was buying groceries from Graffiti's. And, you know, I'm in the store and all. I forgot what it was. I think it was eggs. You know, I was fucking with eggs, and I turn around and I notice this guy. He's kind of a portly fella. He's fat, and he's got something in his hand, but he's looking kind of like too interested in me. So I just assumed this was a homosexual. I didn't think much of it. So then I get online and to buy my food. You know, I reach in my pocket, take out my wallet with my Citibank card. Now, originally when I'm online, there's 2 women, different people with baskets for the food that are online. And they're, all of a sudden, then that guy is online with the eggs, the guy that looked at me kind of funny, right? So there was 2 people in between him. But then when I got my card out my pocket, and I'm putting it in the machine and I'm putting my code in, he's the next person right behind them. You know, like my attention's to my code and everything, make sure people ain't out there trying to steal my identity and whatnot, you know. And then all of a sudden, like as I'm getting my groceries, he's the guy right there, and he's actually leaning over my keypad. You know, so I'm like, oh, what the fuck, man? Oh, you Robert? And I said, yeah. He said, I know your brother, or something like that. I'm like, oh, all right, well, let's get out. I started to think to myself that maybe that's why he was looking at me in the eggs area, you know. So yeah, it's cool, whatever. A lot of people know me, know my brother and stuff too. So yeah, I come home, unpack my shit, cook a little food for me and the kid here, my son. I get up and go to work the next day. As I'm coming out the building, there's a pretty lady, very pretty. She looked like Charlize Theron or something. Very pretty, very, very blue eyes, thin waist, very bodacious. You know, Robert? I turn around. I mean, like I say, I'm from this neighborhood, so it's not unreal. I'm figuring maybe I had met this woman somewhere in the past, possibly was sexually active with her, or if not, I sure in hell would like to be. So I'm like, how you doing, you know? And then this dude that looks like Chris Rock, which is funny too, because right outside my window here, that same dude 2 days before that was out there on his cell phone. And I didn't think nothing of it. I was actually smoking a joint. I was fucking with the dude. Hey, what are you out there stealing my Wi-Fi? He started saying, I'm sorry. It's that. I turned around and he asked me if I wanted to sell him a joint. I said, no, I don't sell drugs. So he kept going. And that was the same dude that actually put the handcuffs on me like 2 days later. So, I mean, they were really like out there, man. They were on some shit, yeah. They were crazy shit. But yeah, so he puts the handcuffs on me. They bring me to the precinct, the woman and the cop. And there was another guy, a short guy, bald here. He looked like he might have been Hungarian or something like that, Spanish maybe. I believe he's the officer that they mention in the paper. I can't even pronounce his name. It's not that I don't want to pronounce his name, I just don't want to pronounce it wrong and get someone else on the hook for some shit. But yeah, he seemed to be the guy that was running the show. So they bring me up in there and they put me in a little jail cell and all, you know. I mean, I was handcuffed and everything. So they got me in the jail cell, you know. And I've been there for about 2-3 hours. I'm like, what the fuck, man? You motherfucker ain't even fingerprint me or nothing, you know. So I sit there. A few times, a few officers are coming over looking in there at me. I'm in there by myself. It's just a precinct cell, 19th precinct. I'm sitting there by myself. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? They seem to be like a big commodity to these people, you know. Then I realized it was graffiti. You know, after about 45 minutes of me being there, I knew it was only graffiti. I was like, I was like, shit! Yo, for real, you sweat that shit. Like, they didn't tell me shit, man. And I was like, oh, graffiti? And what the fuck do you mean graffiti? And they said, you write graffiti all over the place. I said, I don't, come on, man. I said, you know how old I am, man? I said, I'm white. And then I'm fucking up an old man. I said, I'm white. I don't write graffiti. They were like, hey, whatever. And then just no one came near me or nothing. They just kept peeking in the cell every so often. You know, 'cause it's right out there. They fingerprint you the whole shit. You know, you got a bunch of desks. You know, they're doing that thing, the police, and typing up reports and doing all types of crazy shit. You're walking back and forth, cracking jokes, talking about football and shit, you know. And you're just sitting in there, you know, saying, fuck it, man. I fell asleep for a little while, you know, because I did just wake up, you know, to go to work and shit, and I didn't realize that shit wasn't happening. So I fell asleep, man. And I woke up, they were like banging on the thing. I looked at him, and it's that guy that I saw in Graffiti's. And he's like, I want to talk to you. I was like, I'd like to talk to you too. What the fuck is going on here, man? You know? So they bring me upstairs to some room. They got a TV set and shit like that. They start showing me all these pictures of RD tags. Actually, a bunch of the first shit was PK Note and shit like that. And I'm like, what the fuck are you showing me this for? I said, how the fuck does that say what again? Like, nah, come on, man, you people bugging this, that, blah, 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 blah. I was just playing around with them at that point. I knew I was pretty fucked. They wouldn't be dragging me through all that shit if they didn't have me, you know. But, I think it's still, I mean, dummy up, smart thing to do, of course. Wait, get a lawyer. But I still was sitting there and I'm looking at some of the pictures, and like I said, it was a snooze fest, the graffiti business out there. There was really nothing going on, man. It was kind of like I had no one to even talk to about graffiti. I was ready to hop up on their lap and just be like, yeah, you know, it all started back then. But let me chill out with these guys, you know. Let me see what's going on here. But I mean, I wasn't sweating it, you know. So let me see what these people actually got on me, you know. So I was entertaining the thought, you know. They start showing me pictures. I'm starting looking through it. You know, I act on, you know, like, I don't know what you're talking about, man, you know. And they start talking about, come on, you don't know about graffiti? I'm like, fuck, what did I said, once again, I'm a white man. I'm going to be 50. At that point, I was going to be 50. Well, I'm going to be 50 fucking years old, man. Graffiti, I don't got time for that shit. I got my son and this and that. Like, it's some kind of mistake. Someone's fucking with you. That's what I told him. I said, someone's fucking with you, man. I said, but you know absolutely nothing about graffiti. And I said, no. I said, back in 1982, you were arrested on the 6 train writing graffiti. And I'm like, you can't use that. I was like, yo, what the fuck? You can't use that against me, man. I was a child, man. I was like, what, 12, 13 years old? I forgot all about that. They're like, yeah, but graffiti, right? I said, yeah, that's what it says, right? You know, they go on and on and on. And I said, hey, you know, boys will be boys. I was a child. And they're like, and then when you were 17 years old, this and that, and blah, 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 blah. That's when I got caught with Richie Nash. Up at the Sixes, actually. That's the only time I ever got caught writing was in them Sixes, man, by the Pelham Bay Graffiti Squad. But yeah, that's the only time they ever caught me, up at them Sixes. And actually, both times I burnt the shit because I wasn't coming back. Like, I almost set a trap for myself to get caught in. Yeah, funny shit. But yeah, both times I've gotten arrested was at the Sixes. One was like 82 and the other one was like 87 or something like that. And the one in 1982 wasn't even RD. It was either to rob or redo. I don't even remember. I wasn't writing RD at that year. But yeah, I got caught to 6s, Zariga, Castle Hill, shit like that, yeah. I was fucking, wow, that's like 13, 14 years old. I mean, you just look at my police record alone, and that shows you, like, how long I've been out there. And all the movies of the graffiti, you know, I'm going to actually sit down one day and figure out all the movies. A lot of you guys are telling me about movies I really didn't even know, man. That's pretty cool. Keep that shit coming, man, because it's definitely usable, man. Definitely. So anyway, yeah, they locked my ass up. They put me through the system. I believe it was originally 193 accounts. And then when they were in the precinct, they were shoveling through shit. It went down to, like, I think 97. And, it was literally 97 cases. So each one had to be booked. So actually, the court system was pissed at them. Like when they drive you through them doors and you go down to the court, sitting in the tombs and shit like that. It's like, all that paperwork. Like when you come down the stairs, they ask you if you got any tattoos and this and that, you affiliate with any gangs and blah, 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 blah. They take your picture, you're standing there, it's like some nasty stairwell. People are like, yo, dude, man, I ain't fucking gonna be behind him. Like people didn't want to be behind me because of the simple fact that I had this much paperwork. Like they had to take my picture that many times. So it's like, the court, man, they were tight, man. They were like, what the fuck? Like, these cops, they knew they had absolutely nothing, so they figured, well, they'll just fuck me up so I'll get jammed up in the system, which it worked, man. I was jammed up for about 3 fucking days, man. It was almost at the point where they could throw the case out because of the fact that I was fucking going through the system for so long, And, so they put me through the system. It was like almost 3 days, by the time I got out. It was like on a Wednesday, and it was like a Friday afternoon or some shit like that I got out, man. Yeah, shit was a long fucking, that was the longest stint, I mean, I'm not a virgin to that shit. But yeah, that was some weird shit. So yeah, that would be the 3rd time I've gotten caught writing graffiti in my life. The last time before that, like I said, was 1987 with Nash, who writes OA. It's actually the person that J.A. compliments for teaching him how to do his fillings. J.A.X.T.C. got his filling style from O.A. Nash. Well, I mean, the J is obviously from Bo July. Bo Wow, Bo R.T.W. But yeah. So you have that. Nash, he was out there. He did a lot of fillings. He's been around. Who else was with me? Ripe, I believe. No, Ripe got away. Yeah, Ripe actually got away back then. Sayer, I believe, got caught with me. S-A-E-R. Sayer, say la vie. And someone else. Form? Chinese Form? No. It was a 3rd guy. I remember who it was. KK? Nah, KK ain't never been caught. PK? Nah, PK never went up to the 6s with me. I can't remember. There was another person, but yeah, there was some letterline dudes I brought up there a few times after I burnt it. Like after I burnt the place, so kind of my own fault. That was in '87, so I got caught in '82, then in '87, and then in 2017. That was a pretty good run. But it shows you I've been out there that long. And yeah, so I go to the judge, and he's flicking through all the paperwork, and looking through all the paperwork. And his case adjourned until next month. This, that, blah, 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 blah. I pleaded, no, I didn't do it. This, that. And the second time I went back, no, I didn't do it. And it was, what do they say? On the plea deal, their final offer, $500. And all right, I did it. So I paid the plea deal $500. You know, there's some shit about community service. I said, nah, man, I ain't gonna do that shit, man. Fuck that. Y'all put me through the system again. You know, I told him, you know, but I also had a job and shit, which, you know, fuck community service. You know, you're not trying to put me out of house and home here, you know, you're just trying to spank me a little bit, you know. So yeah, I winded up giving them $550 something. I was short $6, so then 6 months later they come grabbing me out of my bed here, and they put me back through the system again. I miscalculated the money that I paid them. I was off by $6.60 something. Yeah, they came by here, grabbed me up again, put me all through the system. And at that point, the judge is kind of like, yo, it's the same judge, so it's kind of like, yo, what the fuck? Like, these dudes are dicks, you know? So, yeah, I paid the money, and that was that. Yeah. Yeah, there you have it. All right, people. Hey, what's up? I just listened to my other thing. Yeah, I left out a lot of details about, you know, like in the precinct they had video footage, like surveillance footage that they showed me with my dog, and I was joking with them, like, oh, come on, man, that ain't me, man. This and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then they would zoom in on my dog's license, this and that. So, yeah, I knew they had me. And I really wasn't going to fight the case anyway, because at this point, like I said, the streets are kind of dead. I actually lost my hold on Manhattan Island maybe 4 years before this, 3 years. I trickled down to, instead of being up the most in Manhattan Island, like I say, I never claimed to be the king of all city king, because I'm going to let you know, there's a few different things I see you guys making a lot of mistakes about. You have someone that goes all city, and then you have all city king. And I'll get into what the differences are between those. Obviously, you guys don't get it. Not like someone could run around right on a mailbox, one mailbox in each fucking borough and say they're all city king, but yet technically I guess they're going all city. We'll get into that whole thing, but yeah, I fucked Manhattan up from day one straight on through. I lost grip of it probably around 2015. It probably after I stopped hanging out with RE. After hanging out with RE, I just kind of stayed on fire hydrants. So technically I was still up more than everyone else, but it was just on fire hydrants with tags, and everyone else was running around doing fill-ins and stuff. I was not happy with it. I honestly lost Manhattan Island at that point. I normally could trickle down to third, like be third most up and deal with it. But fourth, fifth, I start getting pissed. By sixth or seventh, I got to do something about it. And at this point, I'd probably say I was probably not even up top 10. No, maybe top 8, top 7. It's probably, yeah. I mean, Hound and Pear and them, they've been took it from me. Goog, Hound, Pear, yeah, they took Manhattan Island. And, yeah. So, yeah, I was concentrating on fire hydrants. And then the buses that, you know, if I would have used that time wisely, you know, but I do what I think is fun, you know, buses. Yeah, I go and I do it. That's the way I operate. I mean, gates and shit like that were kind of boring. And, there really wasn't much gates anymore. Like, that was something from the crack epidemic. Like, you had to have a gate on your window. Like, it was the law and shit. But at this point, nah. It's like, everything's so fancy and pretty and shit. Like, yo, I'm serious. There's been times where I would do a tag on 23rd Street, and the next day it would be gone. I would do that on a fire hydrant on 14th Street. The next day it would be gone. Now, these were major hubs back in the days to write graffiti on. Like, 14th Street was destroyed. 42nd Street was destroyed. 34th Street destroyed. 23rd Street destroyed, man. Yeah, man. Late 80s, that shit was fucked up, man. That shit was, there was no room. You actually had to sit there for a minute and think of a place to squeeze your tag in and shit, you know? Yeah, it was bad like that, man. Now, at this point, it's like you do a tag like this. Literally, like the Doe Fund, those guys that, it's kind of like welfare, but they make you go out there and sweep the streets and shit so you can get your welfare check. They wear the blue jackets. Ready, willing, and able. That's it. Ready, willing, and able. You got them motherfuckers with a paintbrush. They just straight up stationed there to buff shit. Yeah. But that's why I say no one could ever really rock like the way the old guys rocked. Like Easy, me, Cost, and J.A. You know, there's really people out there that they miss that loop. Just like with the subways. It's just, it can't be done, you know. I mean, you got people out there running around. Hell, I've done trains, well, not since my arrest, but I you know, not that far back. Where, you know, I just fuck around, goof around. You got nothing better to do. And, yeah, we'll leave it at that. But like I said, yeah, I was playing around with them a little bit with the video footage and the precinct and stuff like that. And I was at the point where I was just, yeah, it is what it is. I was going to cop out to it anyway because I sell my artwork as RD also. So if I say I didn't do it and I found innocent of doing it, people who are actually buying my artwork turn around and say, you're a fucking fraud. So, yeah, I probably could have, yeah, I definitely could have finagled that shit in the court systems and this and that and blah, 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 and kept going because it was already at $500 and something. I go back in and I'd start fighting it and taxpayers' money. And the judge was already kind of like, yo, these cops are assholes, like with all this paperwork. Like, yo, I swear they had to take my fucking picture like so many fucking times. Like, the average, they just take this, that, you know what I mean? And they fingerprint your butt and done. But this time, it's each and every fucking one, man. Yeah, they did that to be dirty, you know? But then again, I did write all over the place, so I guess it was part of my punishment, you know? Yeah. But it's not their job. I mean, the police are nothing more than like an Uber. Like, you know, they just bring you to the judge and he makes up your final decisions. Like, they can't take it upon themselves. But I guess they were pretty angry. It was a lot of man hours wasted. And it was pretty minute. I mean, it was stupid, but I guess, you know, they got to pursue something. They got to pursue it, you know, especially when a lot of calls go out and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, I'll actually read the whole thing on here, my whole arrest, and I'll tell you what's true, what's false, this, that. All right, people. Yeah, I'm really just trying to speed through my thing because I got some interesting shit, like how to do this, how to do that, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we're going to have some fun on this thing, man. All right. I'm also trying to keep these things a little shorter, and I'm going to try and do them more frequently throughout the week. Because it looks like you guys don't watch the whole thing. I'm sitting here ranting and raving. You watch 10 minutes of it, you're like, oh, fuck this dude, man. It's boring.